you put that land up for auction, there's a good chance you're going to get 20, maybe even 30% more than if you just privately listed that.
Hello, this is Austin Anderson, multimedia producer for BigIron Realty, and I am down here in Sedalia, Missouri with one of our agents, Justin Hubbs.
Hello, Austin. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Now, it's a special week because it is the week of the critically acclaimed State Fair.
That's it. It's the Missouri State Fair this week.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, are you from this area? Is this where you grew up? And then we'll kind of take it from there.
Yeah. I actually grew up in a small town about 3 hours south of here called Salem, Missouri. It's famously known for the Montauk State Park, a lot of trout fishing, and then the Current River. But I moved up here to Sedalia about 21 years ago. Been here ever since.
Okay. All right. So you've been in this area for 20 years.
Yeah.
All right. And then how did you end up at BigIron Realty?
Yeah. So I ran retail stores for a long while, and then I got my real estate license in 2019, and I spent a little time with another agency, and then I got recruited over by Ron Stock. It was an interesting day. I got a phone call one day from Ron and asking if I could meet him at a gas station north of town, and we could just chat for a little bit. And the rest is history, I guess.
Well, that's kind of like, how did that come about? I mean, were you in real estate previously?
Yeah.
And yeah, so kind of tell us how you got this mysterious phone call.
Yeah, so I was in real estate. I had just joined an agency about a year, just a little over a year prior to that. And so about a year into it, and Ron had asked a local friend of mine that he ran into if they had any ideas on who the real estate person could be in this area for BigIron, and she gave him my name, and he called me one day, and I was in the pickup line with the girls and getting them from school, and I was like, Ron, give me like an hour and I can meet you anywhere. I said, I just gotta get the kids home, then I can be anywhere. So we ended up meeting at break time on North 65, and we just had a conversation. John Buell and Ray Becker were there, and we just talked, and then I went home and told the wife, and we made a decision to make the jump. It was kind of a crazy 48 hours trying to figure out what to do, because the agency I was previously with, my best friend owns it. So it was kind of a tough move, but Ron sold me.
Leaving the real estate company that you were with, like, what made you decide to make that jump and switch over to BigIron? Really,
what sold me on BigIron was the marketability of properties, the growth that we could have. I felt like it was, I know we had an agent in the area in Missouri for a couple years prior to that, but I felt like it was a kind of like a ground level. The train, if you will, was coming into Missouri, and BigIron was going to take off. And with the marketability and the marketing team that was behind each agent, I felt like that was unmatched, like unrivaled. Like you couldn't find somebody else that could give you that kind of exposure to properties with this kind of potential and something new. I mean, something challenging. Bringing BigIron Realty to Missouri. Some guys know about equipment, obviously, but land sales, like that's new for BigIron in this area, even though the agent had done a couple things prior, but I mean, it was new. So the challenge was there, and I like a good challenge.
What have you discovered about auctioning off land as opposed to listing it so far, and why should people, if they have a property, put it to auction instead of just, throwing it up?
So the biggest thing I learned, I remember growing up as a kid, I'd go on Saturdays with my father to auctions, and it was always, what kind of bargain can you find, right? That's the state sells the home goods. You get a box of goodies for $5. Auctions quite on land aren't that way. I mean, they've really changed the landscape of how you're going to sell your land. And what I've learned in just shy of a year being with the company is, you put that land up for auction, there's a good chance you're going to get 20, maybe even 30% more than if you just privately listed that. And so it even stands out more to me now that when you privately list a property and you just put it up for sale, some of these guys will wait you out. They'll see if they'll take a price cut. They may make a lowball offer. Well, when it comes to an auction, it creates urgency. It creates that, oh my, I could buy this, or I only got 2 weeks to make a decision, and I either got to buy it or not. And then you get into the bidding. You see these guys get into bidding. They're like, oh man, $50 more an acre. I could probably buy that. So they'll bid one more time. And I think the urgency and just the passion around, being in that bidding, being in that moment, really makes that difference on an auction. And that's where you see that 20 to 30% more. We had an auction recently. A guy had an offer, 4,600 an acre, and we ended up going to auction with it. He took the chance and he got 5,500 an acre. And that's just what we're seeing. Nebraska sales are seeing that all the time. And I think these guys around here are starting to quickly see you're going to get more. It's not a bargain thing anymore.
When you were deciding whether or not to come over to BigIron, so it was kind of the marketing and the team and the kind of systems that BigIron has in place that really sold you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think those systems were extremely key. And I've never done an auction platform. I've never really been into that world of auctioneering. Obviously, we don't auctioneer with the online platform, but still, it was new to me. And I think that challenge mixed with the systems and the marketing and the team, and I can't stress that enough, the team that's behind us here in this company is pretty amazing. There's a lot of behind the scenes people that are making a lot of things happen that you just don't see at other companies.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself too. You had mentioned earlier that you had to drop the kids off. So how many kids do you have? Are you married?
Yeah.
And how long have you been married?
Yeah. So just got married back in May of this year. So May of 2021.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you. Then, I've got 3 girls. I've got a 13-year-old Nora. She's in last year at junior high, starting this year. She'll be an 8th grader. Charlotte, or we call her Charlie. She's starting in middle school. So she's 10. First year out of elementary into middle school. So she's got a big year ahead of her. And then my youngest is Amelia. She's 7. We call her Millie. She's the jokester, the ornery one of the group, and she's going into 2nd grade this year. So they're all they keep me running, that's for sure. So, but I like having the little one around. She's just like me, likes pranks, likes jokes. The middle one keeps me on my toes because she's smart. Yeah. She's 2 steps ahead of me some days, and then the oldest, she's just the responsible one, the one that makes sure we get everything done. And, she's a teenager at the same time though. So it's a fun, I mean, they're kind of my life. But then Hillary and I got married. Hillary is a instructional coach. That's really based on curriculum, teaching the teachers, if you will, is how I say it. I don't know if that's right. She'll probably correct me later, but, so she's an instructional coach at an elementary school here in town. Like I said, we got married back in May. We've been together 24 months prior to that. And then, it's fun to marry your soulmate,
Yeah. I agree. I married my high school sweetheart.
Very nice.
So we've been married for quite some time, 15 years.
Wow. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Well, tell us, what Missouri means to you. Why do you love Missouri so much?
Yeah. Missouri offers you multiple things. We call it the show me state, obviously, but you can really go around the state and see just about anything. You can go down to the Southwest and you've got the rivers, you've got the lakes down that way, you've got the Lake of the Ozarks in the middle, but you also got big cities if you wanted to experience that. We offer multiple baseball teams in this state, which I'm a huge baseball fan. Grew up a St. Louis Cardinals fan, so that's cool to me. But I think the thing I like about Missouri is the nature, the rolling hills of the Ozarks, the rivers. You can just kind of get away from reality if you wanted to, or you could go to a big city and experience that. I think Kansas City offers a lot of cool things with the arts and the Negro League Museum and some cool history stuff is what Kansas City would offer. And the next day you could be sitting on a river trout fishing. So I think that's the thing that really brings Missouri to me is the rural values and those experiences.
So, tell us real quick why people should use you to, if they have land that they want to auction off or perhaps even a listing, because you have done listings before as well. How are you going to take care of people, and what kind of puts you above the competition?
Yeah. So, the big thing for me is communication. I've dealt with a lot of clients through the last 3 years that, they weren't happy with previous companies or previous agents because they just felt like once they got the listing, the communication was gone, or there wasn't a whole lot of communication. So I pride myself a lot on communication. And I know that sounds kind of vague and simple, but it's very key. when you list that property, it's a matter of following up with those clients weekly, whether you got stuff going on with that property or not. You got to communicate to them, got to let them know why it's a hot commodity or why we're maybe not seeing a whole lot of activity. Like, I think that's very key, is that communication and just being open and honest with that client. But also, I think you got to tie that communication to the team we have at BigIron, and what sets us truly apart is best in class service, unrivaled marketing. So I've got a team behind me that I believe in, that I have confidence in, because they're going to make your property look the best it can look. So I think between those two things, that sets us ahead of the game from any other competition.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thanks for talking with me, Justin.
Yeah, thanks for having me. A lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's the best way that people can get in contact with you? The fastest way?
The fastest way would be go to the website, BigIronGuys.com.
If you have land that you've been wanting to sell or been thinking about selling, just get in touch with Justin, and he'll answer any questions, give you any information about the process and how he can help you get top dollar for your property.